Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am Marty Calabrese with Cleveland Metroparks, and this is Ask a Naturalist. Today's question, why are the trees turning white? Or more specifically, why are the trees in the valley turning white? And I'll tell you what, they aren't turning white. I think it's more so you're noticing more of the sycamore trees, the trees that could have white bark, because the other trees are leafless right now. So this is a leaf from a sycamore, and we're gonna find one. I'm in a floodplain right now. We're gonna take a closer look. We're gonna learn how to identify an American sycamore. And those are the trees that people are seeing that they think are turning white. This broadcast is coming to you live from Millstream Run Reservation. It's a big one, 3,500 acres. It's one of the biggest in Cleveland Metroparks, and it's home to twin 700-foot toboggan chutes, refrigerated toboggan chutes. So, with or without the snow here, they're usable. And actually, they've opened. They opened a week ago. You make your reservations online. And I am in Berea. This is a city west of Cleveland in northeast Ohio. And I'm next to the East Branch of the Rocky River. It's snaking its way north to Lake Erie, and along the way it is draining a watershed of collectively 265 square miles. Again, this is the East Branch of the Rocky River. When the East Branch meets the West Branch, it goes straight to Lake Erie. Combined, it's a big watershed, 265 square miles, and this is an ideal location to address today's Ask a Naturalist question about the sycamore trees, because sycamore trees love growing in wet soils in a floodplain. That's where they not only survive but thrive, and many other species do too. So I am among black locust trees. Yeah, I'll let you see what I'm seeing, and eastern cottonwoods, again alongside the East Branch of the Rocky River. And I'm going to head right into the woods here momentarily. So what you're going to look for is a tree that has lighter bark than the rest, okay? I need to find my way into the woods here. And it's going to be a wet one. It's going to be a wet one because there's water on this side. And there's water right over there. But we'll do this. Is this it? No, this is an eastern cottonwood. I see that really sort of platy and chunky bark, and it's just not white enough. We're looking for white bark. I see some way in the distance. I'm going to head in, straight in. So among the, again, black locust and eastern cottonwoods, we're going to look for a bark that almost appears white from a distance, but as we get closer, you'll see it's many colors. It's a very detailed bark. I've got my eye on two as I sink into the wet snow. Oh yeah, it's wet. And here's one. Here's one. You'll start to see it in a second. Look, almost looks like camouflage bark. Let me get around this side so the sun's over my shoulder. There you go. Right there is an American sycamore, Platanus occidentalis. So brown down here, and more on that later. And there is the white, almost white bark of the sycamore. What do you know? Look right behind it. Look to the right of it. That is a more classic sycamore that I want you to see, that you would notice driving by, hiking by, jogging by, biking by a valley. And you'll see a lot of these trees next to each other, right next to water. They're often an indicator that there's water or a stream or river nearby. Let's take a look at how to identify this. So first things first, when you're talking about trees, you can, with or without the leaves, you want to know whether it has opposite branching, okay, a growth pattern of, opposite or alternate. So in this case, it is alternate. The sycamore grows with an alternate growth pattern. And then, if we take a look at the leaves, well, actually, what leaf do you think here, folks? Chime in with a comment. Is it the leaf on your left or your right? That is a sycamore. Both of these leaves are simple leaves, and that is true of sycamore. They are not a compound leaf like an ash tree. or even a buckeye. It is a simple leaf. So which between these two? They both resemble maple leaves. One of them is a maple. One of them is a Norway maple, actually. You got it, Amy. Thank you. It is this one. We'll get rid of that Norway maple. Get out of there. So it's a sycamore. It's a big old wide leaf. I'd give it 4 to 9 inches. So there's my hand. This is a big leaf. And 1, 2, 3 to 5. 1, 2. Let me start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. So 3 to 5 is what I mean when you're talking about how many sort of lobes does it have. And yeah, there's a bunch of other points in between, but really those are just teeth in between these bigger lobes there. And it has these shallow sinuses, again, big old coarse teeth. Yes, Melissa, thanks. And Phyllis, thank you. Yeah, it's the one on the right. It was the one on the right when I was showing you the two of those. The other one was a Norway maple. Often folks think that these do look similar to maple leaves, and you know what? They do sort of look similar to maple leaves. But they produce a fruit like this, which is not at all maple-like. It's a pod. And notably, it has one stalk. It's one fruit. It's not 2 or even 3. And that matters because there is a tree, there's a look-alike to the sycamore. It's the London plane tree. It even has it's a hybrid. Okay, it's a hybrid, different scientific name. It's a Platanus acerifolia, Platanus acerifolia. And I bet it's got that acerifolia part of it because acer is related to maples. And again, those leaves look maple-like. But that's a different tree, the London plane tree. You see it in cities and suburbs. You can see it in cities like downtown Cleveland. And they grow huge, and it looks similar to the American sycamore. But sometimes the bark, the whiter part of the bark, has a bit of green to it. What does the pod have inside of it? Let's take a look. Let me see if I can tear it open with one hand. I don't know. Thanks for that question, Nancy. We're going to see if I can get in there. Oh, okay. This is what's inside of it. Well, these are achenes. That's what these are. That word, achene, is a type of seed where there's just several seeds within the fruit. Strawberry is a good example of a fruit that is an achene fruit. Thanks for that question. I don't think I've ripped one of these open lately. You know who's going to come by and steal this and eat this? Probably birds like finches, house finches, American goldfinches. I bet a squirrel or chipmunk would not pass this by either. And notably, one fruit hanging off, not 2, because if it were 2, again, it would be that look-alike, the hybrid, the London plane tree. So go find one of these. Here's that sycamore, and see if you can look up, because right now it shouldn't be too hard to figure out if it's the hybrid outside your door, or if you're taking a walk, or if it's the actual native species. So our sycamore, now we'll walk up to it and we'll really take a close look. Our sycamore is a native species to North America. It grows in the central and the eastern part of the United States, actually a bit in Ontario, and even the northeastern parts of Mexico. It grows super tall, so we're talking 80 feet, not this one. And it can be super wide, 60 feet wide crown. It's lumber is used for butcher blocks and furniture. It does not split well, so that's a good one. Brooklyn says there is snow. You bet there is. I feel it on my ankles, Brooklyn. Watching from South Carolina. Well, it's beautiful here too. Okay, let's see. I'm going to ask this question here from Carol. What are the really tall trees? What are the really tall white trees near the Rocky River Nature Center? You can see the tops of them hiking along the trail opposite the Nature Center. Lewis Road Riding Ring gets you to that trail. Well, there you have it. That's actually the species of today. It's the sycamore. The trees that you notice that are white right now are American sycamore. That's what you see in the valley. There are all sorts of birds around me. I'm hearing the honk honk of the white-breasted nuthatch, the yank 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 of red-breasted nuthatch. You know what? I wanted us to see this bark a little bit closer. So we've got the camo bark here. And it's going to be all sorts of different colors. It's going to be green, white, brown, gray. As the tree grows, bark needs to be elastic and it needs to sort of spread without tearing. And sycamore bark the tissue does not allow it to be, the tissue does not have high elasticity. So the tissue doesn't spread and just peels right off. See that? It sheds, it sloughs off. I sort of think of like the scales on a snake. As the new scales are growing, the old scales have to just pop off because what the scales are made of doesn't stretch. And then the newer bark is exposed. It can even photosynthesize a little bit so the tree can continue to make a little bit of food and sugar. Well, hello back to you from Indianapolis there, Gene. And episode suggestion, do bears really hibernate? Ooh, I love it. We'll have to talk about that. And any further questions about the sycamore? I think we're out of time here. I'm trying to look up as far as I can. Look at that beautiful bark. And try to find these trees as you're hiking this winter. I'm going to say goodbye to you for now. Keep chiming in with your questions. Anything we didn't talk about, I'll answer you right there in the comments. Again, I'm Marty Calabrese, a naturalist with Cleveland Metroparks. And I will see you soon. I'll see you next time, next Friday, for our next Ask a Naturalist. Bye-bye.